Cavani and Suárez, currently playing together for Uruguay, could they soon be doing the same for Real Madrid? Isco, they're calling him the most exciting Spanish prospect in years, is he heading for the Premier League? And Fernando Torres, Barcelona, really? Joining me are former Spain, Valencia and Barcelona midfielder Isco Mendieta and international football writer Peter Staunton. I'm James Richardson, this is Transfer Talk. Confederations Cup underway, then Luis Suárez giving his mouth a rest and letting his feet do the talking with a lovely free kick against Spain. What's the latest on his transfer tragedy?
Yeah, you're right there. It was a wonderful goal and reminds people that away from, biting and misbehaviour, this guy can actually play football. And in that respect, it's no surprise to know that Real Madrid are interested in him. He's been, making all the right noises, trying to talk up a move to Madrid, saying he would give his heart and soul if he got a chance to play for them. All the while downplaying that by saying he's still got a contract with Liverpool, that he doesn't know how things are going to work out there.
It is a bit of a mystery. Do you think he'd truly be happy at Real Madrid in a way that he's not at Liverpool, Isco?
I think as a player, when Real Madrid knocks on your door, it's hard to say no, and that's what Suárez has admitted it. He's not yet said that he wants to go to Real Madrid. As a player, he definitely can do his job for Real Madrid. He's scored goals, he's a goal scorer, his work rate is very high. It's very difficult to mark because of that, because he's always on the move. Free kicks as well, so his technique and his quality definitely would suit for Real Madrid. It'd
be a big loss for Liverpool, but they may be taking steps to fill that gap.
Yeah, it would be a huge loss for Liverpool, but they are close to a deal for Henrik Mkhitaryan from Shakhtar Donetsk. So, although they say that they're unaware of any unhappiness on the part of Suárez, hasn't stopped them working on deals for other attackers.
Right, now the other Uruguay player at the heart of a big transfer story is, of course, Edinson Cavani. Mr. and Mrs. Cavani, crucially, coming into play this week.
Yeah, that old parental pressure seems to be playing on Cavani's mind at the moment. His mother in one interview and his father in another saying that the kid's ready to play for Real Madrid.
Real Madrid again?
Yeah.
It's interesting because they don't work that well together for Uruguay, so are we going to see them up front for
I think they should, but funnily enough they don't, because Cavani is more direct player where Suárez is more, could be playing behind of him or in the hole, getting into the box, but they don't work together. It won't happen anyway. They both will go to Real Madrid. Obviously, Real Madrid is trying to get this name as for his chairman always try to get the big name with the big players, the Galacticos, that they like to be called. Because
Man City are also making major moves to try and bring him to Eastlands, which is a move that could potentially have massive knock-on effects. At the moment, do you think that their chances are slimmer than Real Madrid's?
Well, the player's wish seems to be, according to his parents that is, it seems to be to go to Real Madrid. But if he's going to be sidelined, maybe not played through the centre, sometimes he has to be accommodated for Suárez in the Uruguay national team. And supposing they do end up there, the same thing's going to have to happen. Plus, he's got Cristiano Ronaldo to compete with. City have been shedding strikers in the last couple of weeks, in the last few transfer windows. So there's a good chance maybe he could play in his preferred position at City rather than at Real.
Another player who's got a bit of a buzz going on around him is Kevin Strootman of PSV, who's been in the Holland team. Yeah,
I've been watching it recently. The proper Holland Dutch player, quality midfielder. John is in attack as well. There seemed to be some Man United scouts went to see him in the last game in the semi-finals. So maybe see him in the Premier League next year.
We might do, or he might be heading down to join Rafa Benitez at Naples.
Yeah, well, his agent did say that he's physically and mentally equipped to deal with the rigours of Premier League football at this stage of his career. But he also conceded that the only concrete interest that they've had so far is from Napoli. So Rafa Benitez has clearly been paying attention to the under-21s and also to the Eredivisie last season, knows what he likes with Strootman and could perhaps be willing to work on a deal there.
All right, now one or two other players from the Confederations Cup, Paulinho in particular, who was on the score sheet for Brazil against Japan in their opening game.
Yeah, Paulinho, really powerful box-to-box midfield player. He does have a buyout clause in his Corinthians contract. Inter have been linked. It looks like Tottenham Hotspur have moved ahead in the race for that one. His buyout clause, I think, is around £20 million, and Spurs are close to meeting that. So there could be a deal in the offing for Paulinho to go to the Premier League, join his compatriot Sandro.
What kind of position would he occupy in their team?
Well, Spurs like to play with their two defensive midfielders, so the likes of Huddlestone and Parker in there beside Sandro when he's fit, and Paulinho would be a perfect fit in there, putting out fires from the opposition attacks and also been able to initiate attacks for Spurs from that position.
Meanwhile, of course, there's the under-21s that's been going on in Israel, and Isco, a player who's caught many people's eyes. Where are we going to see him? Don't say Real Madrid.
He only knows the answer. At the moment, it seems to Man City, Real Madrid, surprise, surprise, the ones that want to sign the best players. And I suppose Isco got now to decide and make his mind up about where he wants to be, whether stay in Spain and go to a big club, Real Madrid, where possibly he won't get the minutes that he would like to, because Ozil, Modric, Kaká, there's so many players that play in that role that it will be so difficult for him. And the option to go to Man City with his former manager, that he knows perfectly, that in my opinion, he will get more minutes, as well as the Premier League football. I think for his style, it would be easier, not easier, but it would be better for him to settle and to fit into a new team under the manager that obviously will play the football that suits him better.
Right. Do you expect Kaká still to be at Real Madrid then next year?
Well, Kaká has been living in Real Madrid since I think the day he arrived, but keeps being there because of his wages, because find the right place for him to go. Even AC Milan was keen at one point, but it never happened because the cost of his salary. New manager, Ancelotti, knows him from the AC Milan. Maybe another chance for him to stay and with a manager, if he definitely goes there, and give you the confidence and get the play that he was back.
Now, Peter, what's the latest on another of this summer's most intriguing stories, Robert Lewandowski?
Yeah, Lewandowski, after the Champions League final, it looked like it was all settled. He was going to be on his way to Bayern Munich, but Dortmund have maintained throughout the entire process that they don't want to sell him, one, to a rival, especially after losing Mario Götze in a similar fashion, and two, now they're saying they're not going to sell him at all.
Interesting. Are they taking a stand here, Gaska, or do you think they're just trying to drive the price up?
I don't know, it seems a bit suspicious that normally when the player wants to leave, comes out and says, I want to leave, or the club both agrees to come out together and say he's not going anywhere. In this case, the club says he's not going anywhere, but the player, I've not heard the last word from him yet. Because if he wanted to stay, he would have come out and say, I'm staying, don't worry, we're negotiating a new contract, because obviously what I have, it's not good enough for the player he is. But it's not happening.
All right, well, he could be sitting on the bench a lot next season, playing in the Torres role, if you like. And speaking of Fernando, Mourinho coming in, making less than complimentary noises about him. There's been talk even of a move to Barcelona, Pete. Explain.
Yeah, well, we know Jose Mourinho's at times he can be a gifted manager, so it remains to be seen if he's going to massage the ego of Fernando Torres or cut him loose altogether. But he did say, Mourinho said that Torres has had a so-so time at Chelsea, which isn't exactly a ringing endorsement. But Torres himself has said he wants to stay and fight for his place, and he wants to work with Jose Mourinho and maybe rediscover that hunger and that goal-scoring touch that has been there throughout his career, but he's kind of seemed to have tailed off a little bit since he joined Chelsea.
Well, he's definitely a player that would suit Mourinho's style of football, counter-attack. I mean, obviously he hasn't got the pace that he used to, but he's still clever to work under Mourinho. It's whether if Chelsea gets another striker or not, if Torres is not the main man. If Torres is not going to be the main man, I don't think he'll be happy to stay there.
And this idea of him at Barcelona?
It's hard to believe for myself. Someone that has been so, and is still so linked and so attached to Atletico Madrid. His wages, Barcelona has a top salary, a cap salary, so there's a lot of things going on from Torres to Barcelona that at the moment doesn't make, or to me personally, doesn't seem to be very real.
All right, one story though from Chelsea's point of view that we can almost confirm now is Andreas Schürrle.
Yeah, the Bayer Leverkusen attacker, a fee agreed between the two clubs. Leverkusen said the deal was just too good to turn down. A really versatile player, can play anywhere across, we'll say, off the striker, so left, right or in the centre, and he can also play up front as well. He's a good goal-scoring touch.
Right, don't they have about 4 players like that already?
And they're certainly doing well. Kevin De Bruyne coming back as well from Werder Bremen on loan. There's another one. So Mourinho has all these players and he's only got 11 slots in his team.
Well, that's this week's Transfer Talk then. If you enjoyed it, do subscribe via the subscribe button. And don't forget you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter.